This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 823 for the week of Monday, June 24th, 2024. My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
And joining us this week, first we have our very special guest, member of Team Dark, Vero is here.
Hi.
Good to have you back on the show.
I'm happy to be here.
It's a big week for Bonney, so it's good to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I love women. Well, girls. Yeah. I was like, she's not a woman. We've learned this now.
Yeah,
it's been a weekend at Bonnie's.
I'm making a face at you.
I'm gonna write that down, but I'm not happy about it.
I'm happy about it.
All right.
I'm gonna shoot you a message for what the image should be, Steve.
Thank you, because I realized before you hopped into this call for the record, I was about to say, "Oh, Bonney," but I realized you weren't here. So what the hell? Is
Bonney.
We gotta introduce everybody else now. I'm sorry.
All right. And secondly, old friend of the podcast, Jammer, is returning to the show. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm back for my twice-a-decade appearance in the show, and I had a great time reading way too many chapters yesterday. It was so much fun, so much heartbreak.
All right, we're gonna ask you about that in a second, but we do have one more guest to introduce, and that is the executive producer for the upcoming Disney Plus show, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Jeff Trammell is here.
Hey, thank you guys for having me back.
And welcome back to the show. How have you been enjoying One Piece lately?
The only way you can enjoy One Piece, which is one chapter at a time, very slowly, and wondering who are these characters I forgot.
Well, speaking of, Jammer, how many chapters did you read yesterday?
I read, let's see here, that's about 22 chapters. So I read from 1095 to, now 1117 yesterday, and then read 1118 this morning. So I went from like the beginning of the flashback essentially through that. Cried a whole lot. My wife sitting next to me, judging me every step of the way. And then through the big reveal that the Vegapunk had over the course of too many chapters, but I loved every second of it. And every single second hoping that he didn't get taken out like Clover or whatever that guy's name is from, what's it called? Is that his name? Did I remember a name? Is that right?
Yes.
So.
From O'Hara?
What's his name?
Did I get that right?
What's his name from What's His Place is how I feel about most characters in One Piece.
But yeah, it was I'm torn with One Piece in general because I kind of hate reading week to week, but then when you jump back in, I kind of hate having to remember and pick things back up. So you kind of have to pick your poison here and there. But generally, I try to let 10 to 20 chapters pile up before I go through. So it was perfect timing for me.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely been like it's a good arc. Just the whole Bonney story is just I think you picked the right time to come back onto the show. So.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite of the post time skip so far. So far.
I can definitely see that. A lot of people would say I think Laws was a very important one for a lot of people, but Bonney is might be even better. So.
I gotta say, Jammer, you tend to have pretty controversial opinions, but I think this is kind of the opposite of that in this case.
Oh, nice. So I'm off brand.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, it's you've changed in the time skip. That's
it.
You've had your own little time skip.
I have. I did my own training.
Yeah. One little announcement here. We have another op-ed on the OnePiecePodcast.com website from Kirsten Carey, who also does the music for the show. And this one's about the sort of the end of One Piece and what Oda has said about it and what does it mean for the series to be coming to an end? Is this the final act that we're going into? So you want to go to the OnePiecePodcast.com or go to OnePiecePodcast.com and check that out. We're reintroducing editorials to the website slowly, and we're going to keep doing a few at a time and see where it goes from there. But unless anyone has something to add, and actually we have our next show upcoming, Anime NYC weekend at the City Winery in New York. Tickets are available for that, so check it out. But
it's a live show.
Yes,
live recording, just like the one you guys did a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It is, it's the same weekend as Anime NYC, but it's not at the convention. It's totally separate. So
right.
you don't have to go to the convention to go to the show. But just because you're going to the convention doesn't mean you could go to the show. So
Right.
Hope that makes sense. But yeah, come see us. If you're in town for the convention, cool off on Sunday evening with us, or just come see us. Just come see
Who
us,
doesn't love
regardless.
wine?
Exactly.
Yeah. My
Right.
kids need it.
All right. In case, unless anyone else has something they want to add, let's get right into the manga recap for chapter. Chapter 1118. This is the manga recap for chapter 1118, The Most Free. And we start with Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage. That's a mouthful. Volume 8. The journey begins. And Yamato is walking down the road from the Flower Capital, and he's going to be done with that lunch by, before, he can still see the palace. He's looks like he's going to town on it. But everyone's happy seeing him off from the Flower Capital to travel around Wano.
Took him a long time to get going.
This was just reminding me of, was this One Piece a bit where, some of the Straw Hats, like Luffy, mainly Luffy, they're setting off, and then, this is, I'm thinking of Karu in Alabasta, when Karu goes off on his own to deliver a message to the king, and takes,
4 big drinks.
Gets about a few yards,
drinks,
and then starts
his barrel.
Yeah.
And then
I wasn't sure. I thought, like, with Yamato already eating, I thought the crowd was just being like, dude, don't eat all your food. All right. So,
yeah. I don't know. Anyone have anything else? It's just nice to see Yamato looking so happy.
I know.
Yamato's been in a good mood this whole cover story here. And
Sometimes it's just refreshing to have a cover story where I don't feel like I need to just piece together a puzzle. It's just walking away. That's all we need. I mean, I probably missed something, but it's just simple.
It's going to get more complicated when, like, 10 other characters show up in this.
Sure.
It just totally, converts to being a backstory about someone else. Like, that's what the previous one, the Germa one did, right? Just turned into, like, a whole...
Mads backstory.
Yeah, Mads backstory.
This will probably be, like, some sort of Kaido Big Mom thing, probably.
Oh, yeah.
If when the volcano erupted, they didn't get,
Yamato walks by their giant skeleton.
A Kaido-shaped hole in the ground.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah.
Kaido came out the other end all distorted, like in that Junji Ito manga.
He came out nice.
And
how do you guys think Yamato's going to get off of Wano? Like, do we think he has a boat, or we're going to run into another group that he hops on with?
Oh.
I feel like if he runs into another, it'd be cute if there's another pirate group or something stranded and he goes off with them or whatever, right? That's like what
It's
Odin did.
Blackbeard. It's the worst possible group.
He's like, wow, these guys look strong. We hang out with them.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him wrangle up one of those giant koi and ride it off into the sunset.
That would be really cool.
The whole time I was looking at this, because I also just caught up on 4 or 5 chapters before reading this one, I'm thinking the whole world is listening to this mass announcement of horror, and Yamato has his AirPods in and it's like, I can't hear him.
All right, let's begin. On the first page here, the Navy ship the mast is coming down. The men are all yelling, "Abandon ship! What is that metal monstrosity? It's gonna sink us!" Ah! And it crashes into the ships, and you can see how much larger the Iron Giant is than all of the ships. It's massive. See the Denden Mushi still beeping, still giving off that disconnected signal. But then we get a little bit of a noise coming through. We get shh, that name, shh, and the static comes back in again. But then we start to see what appears to be the thoughts of the Iron Giant upside down in the water. Glub, glub, glub. And we hear, "Where? Joy Boy, where'd you go?" And as he sinks to the toward the bottom of the ocean there, he says, "Want to see you. You were there, Joy Boy. Strange. So strange." And as he just falls, he's falling into the abyss. But back on the surface, or back on the water, the Marines are looking onto Egghead, and they see, what the hell is that? It's a boar? A mammoth? What's happening on Egghead? And so yeah, they're seeing the giant demonic form of Mercury, and yeah, he's got a evil looking, angry look on his face, as he always does. Steve.
He has a resting boar face.
Boo!
Now I know why Steve invites me, because I laugh at every single one of his jokes.
You said the quiet part loud.
To a bigger
Anyway,
house.
we once again go around the world, and we see all the video transponder snails losing their signals. I really hope maybe the signal does turn back on, so we could have someone in the crowd saying, "The TV's back on." Vegapunk's back. No, Alex? No, not even you? A little bit? A little ha-ha, hee-hee?
No, I laughed. I was just on mute. I had a little chuckle.
I mean, who wouldn't go
That's what
crazy
they
for
all say.
Calculon?
But like everything they're saying, it's just repeating like, oh, what caused this that? It's like, what caused this to stop? Like, it sounded like he was about to say something really important, and it's like, and why would Vegapunk die in the first place? We go to Alabasta, where we see Koza again and Toto, but we also see Kappa. Maybe the top-headed guy is maybe Eric from the former Revolutionary Army. I'm not sure.
I think Falafel's there.
Is that him? I was wondering if that was him.
You guys are making this up.
Y'all are you're just showing off. You're just showing off, making shit up.
A little flexing.
Wait,
What if the name is Eric for One Piece?
Yeah, I don't know.
Filler
That's
character. A filler character who
What if
died.
what if the guy in the top hat is Mr. 11?
He's dead.
Thanks for taking me in, guys, and cleaning up all 20 of my bullet wounds. Nah, I did have to look up on Wiki because I forgot the kid's name, because I know he was named at least. And everyone's speculating. They're not redoing the walls of whether or not he was assassinated or not. If the world government was behind this. But someone's like, no way. Did you already forget in chapter blah, 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 blah? It said that Luffy was the one holding him prisoner. So now people are saying, like, if anyone did it, it's obviously a pirate. The irony that the citizens of Alabasta are speculating Luffy would murder Vegapunk when Luffy was the one who helped save their country. But
for all they know, he
credit-
just likes
credit
to
wasn't
show
given
up
to him.
places and beat
Credit wasn't
people
given.
up. Yeah.
I know. Luffy didn't want the credit,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Smoker
And
saved
then, and then those cactus, those cactus mountains. It's obviously we're back at Whiskey Peak for the first time in a while, and yeah, baby, yeah, it's Mr. and Mrs. Nine.
Is there Mrs. Nine?
Is that Mr. Nine? Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah,
god.
it is. Wow.
That's
The years were
that's
not
Mr.
kind to
Nine.
him.
There's a much better shot of him in the decks of the world.
Yeah,
With his
that's
little
Mr.
son.
Nine. Miss Merry Christmas in the background.
No, Miss Monday. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I said Miss Merry Christmas.
Yes,
I'm
you
sorry.
did. I was like, what?
alliteration. Yeah, I guess I'm fired.
Miss Groundhog's
You're
Day.
fired.
And a chef in the front, I guess. And they're skeptical. They're like, oh, whatever. Like, no matter what Vegapunk would have done, the world government would never eliminate the world's greatest genius.
The world government would never shoot themselves in the dick.
Never.
Boeing would never eliminate someone who was whistleblowing all their terrible planes. And we cut to Dressrosa post-training. We see Leo with Rebecca, and Leo says, do you think Luffy Land did it? And probably the funniest Rebecca has ever been, just turns and just says, no.
I like her expression here.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Also, I like that Koza has like the state issued revolutionary goggles. I just noticed it. It's the same ones that Koala and Sabo have. I'm just like, Dragon shows up and is like, here, child, and then leaves. This is how I know.
He went to the surplus store, revolutionary surplus.
I don't think he ever had goggles though.
No.
Like in Alabasta. Yeah, he just had his cool glasses. But
yeah. So he could look like Cos Miller.
Master Miller?
That's how I remembered his name.
So you're saying Crocodile played him like a fiddle? Like a damn fiddle?
Steve, I totally thought that you were going to give Rebecca the Luann Van Houten. Ooh, no.
I immediately thought of Hank Venture. That's where I went to there. She's so into you. Really? You think so? No.
No.
We go back to Egghead and paging York, and come in, York. And she's like, huh? What? No, she's like, what? And I'm guessing this is Warcury and asking how many Vegapunks are still alive. And she says, Vegapunks, aside from me, the number of people accessing punk records is 2. And that's Lilith and Atlas, which is surprising because I guess now Edison is officially.
I think he seemed like he was potentially dying, but I still don't.
Yeah, that's what he was saying in the other chapter that I just read. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done for. I'm done. So get out of here, girly pop."
I feel like a lot of dramatic ends to characters aren't reading as clearly in the manga. Like I've been catching up with dub episodes of Wano, and I just, I've seen like Frankie defeating Sasaki and all that stuff. And I remember that not really being clear in the manga, like, oh, that was the final blow? Oh, okay.
That's been like a weakness of the manga, I think, since the time skip, where it's just there's a lack of clarity and just the pacing is breakneck. There's been a lot of stuff where it's just like, well, that could have been, an arc, and it's like half of a chapter. It's just hard to really follow sometimes. But there's a lot of story to get through still, and who knows when this thing's gonna end. So.
I've mentioned this like a bunch, like after we'd read about, like when I did a live reading for Drummark, I was just like shocked by how much breathing room there was in the pacing. I was like, wow, this story feels like it has time to like set a tone.
Well, it's like more cinematic, where it's like you could almost imagine like, oh, this is a camera, whereas this is more like you can't really, you have to adapt it in order for it to really make sense inside of the panels, where you didn't have. I feel like you didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I'm kind of happy we're in like an era of the anime now where they are taking some liberties, whether you agree with them or not. But yeah, I'm glad we're not just the anime is not just using the manga as storyboards.
For me, the One Piece can't get here soon enough. I'm so excited for that.
Well, if it does, then it's going to get caught up.
It's not going to get. No, it's fine.
I don't know. Yeah, before we get into that. And then Warcury just scuttles away by the looks of it here, and says, and we still hear from York saying, Lilith is on this floor, Atlas is at the northeast shore. And Warcury telepathically responds, should we eliminate them all? I think this is still York saying yes or no. Maybe this is someone communicating with Warcury.
Mars, maybe. Mars is in the background.
Yeah.
Mars and Saturn are both there.
Yes, that's true. Sorry, it's hard to make Mars out right there. But they're communicating back and forth, saying yes. Even with Stella dead, Punk Records is designed to continue growing. York's development benefits us, but we need no other geniuses.
You said it's Warcury. The boar, right?
The boar,
This page reminds me so much of in is it not Nausicaa? Princess Mononoke, where the boar is like cursed, and they're all I don't know, something about it just like totally reminded me of that.
The big Keith David boar.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah. I also really, really, really like how York is drawn at the top. I feel bad for saying it, but I was like, oh, she looks really different from all the other girls for once. Oda kind of has like a female character he likes to draw, but in this one I'm like, oh, I could She's very distinct, and I liked it. As I could compare to the girls like on the panel below, but
It's in the cheeks.
yeah, it's in the. I like that.
I did notice that. I was gonna wait till later to bring it up, but yeah, I do like that York. Like you can't tell in profile.
No,
but yeah, but from the panel, like that top panel there, she does have a more rounded face.
That side pan, that profile image is not great.
It doesn't match, but
it doesn't look at all
the
same. Yeah.
Well, look,
I do like that. I
pick every single panel then.
And just a little bit of that, you know.
She looks like if you squished her, she'd like make a squeaky toy noise a little bit. Which
I like that.
But also, she's huge. She's like 8
Yeah.
feet tall.
Yeah.
Alex.
Okay, so here we are in the harbor. The giant ship is setting. They say set sail, and we hear screaming because they're plowing through marine ships. There's fire and explosions, and I think it's kind of funny, kind of telling how much munitions marine ships have on them because they're always exploding. That seems like a hazard to me.
Let's store all of our gunpowder in the ship.
Yeah,
that's safe.
That's a great point when there's so many like flame based devil fruits as well.
Yeah.
I just imagine them like giant mechs where you cut them in half and they just explode on either side. It's that same principle with the ships.
Yeah, they're just all nuclear powered.
That's where the millions went wrong in the beginning of the Alabasta arc, because they're like, let's just load all our ships with gunpowder, and then Port Castillace just like blew them all up in one go. So.
One of the coolest scenes. All right, so it's Dre and Brogy and Luffy, and they say, "Let's go, jump on board!" And we see them sort of jump onto the back end of the ship just as it's sailing away. And you see the sense of scale here, which is really great. They're just normal-sized people to them, but to us, they're huge. I just explained giants.
They're like people, but really big.
Yeah. I'm really excited for Elbaf, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I'm really pumped. So the giants are here. They're grappling onto the ship. The other giants on the ship are going, "You made it back!" Luffy's pretty, he's exhausted at this point, but he's happy to be where he is. And Brogy says, "Of course we did! Go, ba, 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 ba." Bonnie's happy to see Luffy, and Luffy is ecstatic to be on the giant ship. Woo! We're on the giant ship! It's huge! Is Usopp here yet? What about Chopper? He's in the best sort of spirits. Frankie and looks like Frankie's having a fun little interaction there with Brogy.
What's Sanji doing back
there? Is he patting? Is he like knocking on the dragon giant?
He's you want a cigarette?
I
want a toke of this?
I want to smoke.
Dream blunt rotation right there.
Yeah.
I will admit I was very confused when I first read this panel, because I was like, did Luffy also turn into a giant? But then I realized it's foreground and stuff.
It's perspective.
It's confusing because he does do that, so it makes it...
he can be big sometimes.
Yeah.
So then we get a quick shot of the ships trying to chase the giant ship to no avail. "Damn it, after him! Don't let them get away. We have too many ships for this." "But the giants are just too strong. And more importantly, are you all right, Vice Admiral Duel?" And looks like Doll, Bluegrass, and the giraffe sea monster robot have all been turned into children by Bonney. "Darn you, Bonney," says Doll. And Bluegrass says, "It sucks being so powerless. What a ridiculous ability." Bluegrass, by the way, has not changed height at all. Going from a little old lady to a little girl. And I love this. I love the giraffe. I would like one. I'm not sure if we can genetically engineer something like that, it would probably be against all moral codes. But then again, we have doodles and dachshunds and many other dog breeds that probably shouldn't exist. No. So why not a tiny little wee giraffe that I can...
Bonnie's a Toys R Us kid.
Keep in the den. And that's the end of this page.
Then we move on to my page, which is, it starts off really confusing. So I need some help with the clarity here. Are we just it's zooming
Doll's
back from
view.
Doll's point of view, right? And then you see Bonney. I'm assuming that's Bonney up top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So she says, you were setting yourself in trouble when you let me escape, Navy. So she's just rubbing salt in the wound. So here's more confusing stuff. Okay, so we see one of the giants back there. She really whipped you good, Kashi. What did I miss there? Who whipped who? I don't know who.
Last chapter.
She beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fell off the ship.
I didn't remember that. So there you go.
Yeah, she really did.
Because for a second, I thought maybe like Bonney did, and I was like, what's happening? I'm really confused.
There's a lot of punchies happening. I understand.
Yeah. Anyways,
Bonney does look like she used her flintlock to imbue her power with. Yeah, that's probably how she managed to hit vice admirals.
Nice.
There you go.
Observation.
Sanji says, "This is Sanji. We're already sailing. Nami, how's it looking up there?" She responds, "We're about to leave." And then, what was it? Kashi said, "Oh yeah," he's basically saying hi to Luffy again, saying, "Hey, nice to see you again." Then we move over to Nami and Co. Thanks to Edison, we should be able to land in the water. But if it looks like we won't make it, help. Of course, even if everyone else sinks. Sanji, of course, that's very on brand for him. I'll do everything to save you and Robin and Lilith. And then Usopp says, no, save all of us. And Franky's like, don't worry. If anything bad happens, I'll rescue the ship. Obviously. Usopp's like, no, you forgot. What about us too? Please save us too. But obviously it's not going to happen. We see in the background one of the 5 Elder Stars whose name I don't know, the pterodactyl one, whatever his name is.
That's Mars, Marcus Mars.
Marcus Mars. He's flying in. He's not letting them escape so easily. So we see him flying in. He's angry. Sanji notices him saying him again. Figures he wouldn't give up yet, which I'm really happy they did because it seemed like that would be too easy. Anyways, we move to another giant who was given the memo that Luffy likes to eat a lot of food. He says the captain said I should cook a lot because you're going to eat a lot. I was going to serve it to you guys later. And he's like, no. I need it now. And also, please cook more. So he says, go. You got a big appetite for a little fella. We cut back to the outside of the ship. We see the Elder Star's name, whose name I forgot again, firing fire at the Dorian Broggy, and they're protecting with their shields, saying, protect the puny humans, and yo, that's hot. And we cut to the next page.
Cool. And on the next page, we see that the ship is on fire. People are rushing to put the ship and the sails off fire by throwing water on them. Get the water, don't let the sails catch. We see some of the Navy guys looking up at Mars. What is that monstrous bird? And we see Dory and Bragi looks like they are downed now, but they saved their crew and presumably the Navy guys as well. And
I don't think they did. I think the people on their ship are saying thank you, not the Navy.
Oh, I can't. So this is the rest of the crew, not the Navy guys. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
And then we see Bonney, and she's like, "We should move Vegapunk and Daddy. Don't let them get burned." So we see them move Vegapunk and our beloved big homie Kuba. Next, we see Dory and Bragi, and they're like, I guess we got to do something about those monsters after all. If it can fly, it'll just keep chasing us, which is a great point, because Mars is not going to give up. And we see Mars telling them such that not a single one of them is going to escape. And it looks like he's shooting more fire at the ship. Or maybe that's just the fire that's already there continuing to burn. It's a little hard to tell from here.
I think it's the continuing flames, yeah.
Okay, so he's just talking trash while he's flying up above. We see Frankie looking up, and he goes, huh? And then we have a big wide shot of the ship, starts to rock, and we hear, it's an earthquake. And we see what I believe are the drums of liberation. And we hear, all right, nice and full now. Let's go. Follow the beat. And we see some of the Navy pirates, and they're like, the Navy Marines. We see, first the sound starts. Now we're floating above water. Look out. And we see the ship start to kind of levitate, or they're like bouncing from the drums. We see the Eye of Mars, who's staring down at them, knowing that something's going on. Then we see Gear 5 Luffy. He says, Bonney. And Bonney goes, whoa, Nika. Who's that anyway? And I think that who's that anyway is, I don't think that's from Bonney, is it?
That's from Luffy. I think he's saying, who's Nika? Like, I don't know.
Okay,
who Nika is.
So he's continuing to be confused that he is Nika. And then we see Dory and Bragi. Hey, that's a festival rhythm. And sorry, remind me which one's Dory? Dory's on the left, right?
They're the same. It's fine.
One says to the other.
Don't listen to him.
Dory's the taller one with the
long
he's
beard?
got the long beard.
So
It's
Bragi.
the sword beard. Dory's got the sword beard. Brogy's got the axe beard.
Now I got it. Now I'll never forget it.
Half of a B.
Wait, can you repeat that, Alex?
Dory's got the axe beard, and Brogy's got no.
Wait.
Dory's got the sword beard. Dory has the sword beard. Brogy has the axe beard.
You know,
Because they both use those weapons.
did I never realize that until today? Maybe I've forgotten that because I know there was Beardfall and the
Beard
other-
Hill.
So
Beard
here's
Hill
how
from-
here's how I'm gonna remember. Axe, Bragi, AB.
Oh,
there you
That's
go.
what I'm gonna do.
What's tragic is I used to remember Dory's the one voiced by Daisuke Gori, but not anymore because
yeah.
unfortunately Daisuke Gori passed away.
How life happens.
But yeah, we talked about in the podcast like not too long ago because the axes are named after the real life Funk Brothers, right? The
Terry sword and the Dory.
Dory.
Dory is the other one. Is the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I'll really never forget it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Terry sounds like Dory.
You'll remember it forever. Forever. Forever.
So Brogy says stop dancing and put out that fire dummy. Blah, 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 blah. So next we see Luffy or Nika. He says, let's go. You want to beat those guys up too, don't you? And Bonney replies, but I can't. Just look at them. And then we see a flashback of Luffy. That's Luffy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Flexing his Nika powers, and Bonney kind of thinking back on that. And he goes, I don't know how your powers work, but you can do it. And then she remembers, that's what I look like when I'm free. So we see her go, distorted future where?
And before we go on, I want to. Well, sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
I
you're
want to go
good.
back just because, and I don't know how much has this been clarified before, but it has to do with Luffy and him. Essentially, the second he has enough food in him to fuel his Nika mode, that's when the drum beats start heading in. And I'm assuming that there's some sort of ritual, and maybe this has been clarified in the past, that the giants have this, over time been a part of their culture, has to do with the Nika and the way past. So I'm assuming that's why they start dancing. It's like, oh, this thing that's a part of our culture.
I think everyone can hear the music, and the music is supposed to sound like drums. And they did mention, they were like, oh, this sounds like the kind of things that would play at our festivals, and it makes them kind of happy. So
Exactly.
I think that's the vibe, and I think that's kind of alluding to maybe in the future we'll see that they're like, yeah, we knew who Nika was. We were rocking with him.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you've seen the giant straw hat that's held in the vault in the castle, like it makes sense to think that this Nika legend, it originated maybe on Elbaf, and the first Joy Boy was a giant. I think. So,
Yeah.
But before we do that, we got to get this last page, Vero.
And we have this quiet panel of Kuba, and we hear a flashback. Don't worry, Ginny. And the Kuma back in the church, I'll raise your daughter. And then we see this huge Ginny, and she says, the future where I'm the most free. And she looks like her own kind of girlish version of Nika, and Luffy's in the back laughing. Now you've done it, Bonney. And she's so excited. And below, I'm trying to, I don't know which direction I should read this in, but the Marines are like, what is that? Whoa, 2 Nikas, giants in what? And she's like, yeah, they're having a little dance. And whichever one is the ugly bird is like, I'm gonna just imagine in my head that's a God damn it kind of face. That's all I can think. And she's like, yeah. And they're saying a strange presence. Act quickly. I don't actually know which order I should read it.
No, I think you're right. You're right. It goes top left next, I think.
Okay.
So like you read the haha, now you've got it, Bonney, and then you read that bottom
okay,
part.
Okay.
Says, let's go, and Bonney says, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I was guessing there a little bit. And we've got the big robot at the bottom saying, a strange presence there. I want to know what happens next. We have to wait.
But is that the robot, or is that the other Elder Star thinking that?
The other Elder Stars are saying a strange presence, but it's the
giant. Okay.
That's the continuation of what he was saying on the first page. Like,
Yeah.
You were or was it? You were there, Joy Boy. You were there. Strange, so strange.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's what he was saying. Now he's saying it again here, I think.
Oh.
You're doing it, Peter.
Joy, you can fly. Yeah, Joy Boy is back, and means the robot's coming back too. So, Yep, good chapter, despite only being 12 pages, but it was a page turner.
Did not seem short.
Nope, no one didn't.
Did not seem like a short chapter. Crazy.
Good payoff.
It's weird how that's a compliment, but it really is. It just feels like there was a lot loaded into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there have been shorter chapters where it is kind of unsatisfying, but this one was satisfying. So,
yeah.
Let's start off getting everyone's thoughts on the chapter. Jammer, you want to go first?
Well, I think we can agree that this chapter will have no negative responses by fans in any way, shape, or form. I agree on that.
Yeah. People are going to be really normal about it.
They really
online.
are. And it's really going to give me a lot of faith in the fandom in many ways. So I think I'll start there. Anyway, sorry, Vero, go ahead.
Oh, my roommate has been, what time does chapter drop? 11 a.m. He's been clocked in on twitter.com fighting people over this chapter since 11:15 in the morning.
Oh my God.
So,
Do I dare ask what exactly it is?
Okay. I mean, if you want, unfortunately, I did get spoiled on this. I think many people did, and the conversation surrounding it, to keep their mouth shut. The people seem to be mad, thinking that it's power scalers, from my understanding. They're mad that her power, quote unquote, doesn't make sense, and they're saying that the criticism that I've seen is oh, well, if she can do this, she can make a future where she has any devil fruit. And I was like, yeah, isn't that cool?
Are these people saying this while they have a Trafalgar Law avatar?
Boys, yeah. They're like, how can Zoro beat her? But
that'd be so funny.
take it in the reverse, where I'm like, isn't it Oda likes to play loose and fast with his interpretations of characters' powers. How does Law's power equate to whatever the hell it does?
Right. How does Luffy's power? They changed the name of the fruit, but
something that's always impressed me about One Piece is Oda's use of his own imagination to give us if you've got powers that can, okay, her power isn't changing ages, it's changing times. And if you were going to alter time in a way, you're then altering reality. Why not have a reality where this thing happened? And I'm like, yeah, I'll make that jump with you. I'll take your hand. Cool.
And I like how it's linked to her own sense of self-worth, or how much positivity or negativity she's feeling as well. And I think that's really cool. And that it's literally just, she's had a crappy life and had a lot of issues and problems, and now she's in a situation where I'm at a place where I could literally be anything, and that's kind of it really shows the power of Luffy as a main character, period, among other things.
I mean, it really shows how far with Oda, any devil fruit power can be taken to its most absurd level. There's nothing about the OPP fruit that says that there should be a surgery that can basically turn somebody immortal. It's just that, when the user is powerful enough to do so, a devil fruit can do anything. Like,
And I
the
think
strongest person, like, you know, any devil fruit can be massively overpowered.
I think the idea is that their limits are their users' imagination, which is why, you know, it's more powerful in the hands of one other. If Sanji can fucking fly because he's feeling so passionate enough to do so, then Bonney can turn into Nika because she is so passionate enough to do so.
And to
Or
your
a
point,
version of Nika.
and to your point, like the limitless imagination of a child and Bonney being a child proves why she can do these things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought this chapter was good. I've been really liking this last handful of chapters because there's a tendency when you have all these characters that are all spread out and you're just like, you just get them all to the same place. Just get them all to the same place. And it's like getting through sludge to get everyone where they need to be. And when Luffy and everyone made it on the ship, I was just like, okay, cool. That's everyone, right? I think we have everyone who's kind of where they need to be in order for us to continue going forward. And it's like we're all moving in the same direction now. And that was satisfying. And yet we're still kind of moving the plot forward. We're getting a little bit more stuff with the Giants. Hopefully we'll get more mystery resolved there. I'm interested to see what happens with Bonney, what her powers look like. Like, is it going to be... Because people, I think, are jumping to the conclusions in terms of like, oh, she's basically Nika now. Oh, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know what extent it is, how it's going to differ, but I'm sure it'll be fun either way. And I think after that, we can kind of assess, was this a good transformation? I personally like it as it's introduced right now, but... You know, we'll have to wait and see.
Also,
I think.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, I think people on the keyboards like to freak out and make a big deal about things and are annoyed. They're like, "Oh yeah, Luffy's worked so hard to get this," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, Bonney kind of did too." But whatever. Let's just pretend Luffy's the only character in this show. But
another thing that I remember is as Nika, Luffy alters the reality around him and turns things more cartoonish, and I feel like it's not a stretch for him to then be like, "Come be Joy Boy with me. Let's be Joy Boy together." You know?
Yes, this
100%.
Yeah,
I think that's so cool.
Does that mean he's like the Toon World magic card from Yu-Gi-Oh?
Sure.
Anybody?
Sure.
The Nika World magic card.
The D stands for duel.
Can you write that one down? Can you make a little sketch?
Sure.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Those are my thoughts. I think I had a good time. It was a good chapter. I wish it was a little bit longer, but I'm interested to see where things go.
Fantastic. And Jeff, you're up next. What did you think of the chapter?
I mean, yeah, like we talked about, there's so much packed in here. I'm really excited for JoyBonney. I like the character a lot. Seeing her backstory along with Kuma has been great. So her getting to this point is just like really gratifying for me. So I'm excited to see where she goes. And we got Yamato on the cover, who is my favorite character. So I can't have any complaints either way. And we got a lot of giant stuff. Honestly, I'd say the most, I don't even want to say disappointing because we all know it's coming, but the only way this could have been better is if we somehow were able to get Usopp to the giant sooner just to see him flip out, but we know that's on the way. So yeah.
Along those lines, Alex, I have another controversial opinion to send your way. I don't care about the Giants. I actually just kind of don't like the Giants, and I am not excited for Elbaf at all. I feel like I don't know,
but it's Fable.
I need Delaney to add in like
I know
it is Fable
after all of your statements.
I mean, I don't have a logical. I look at the Giants and I'm like, you guys are kind of annoying. You're really big, which makes me think of them moving slowly, and I don't know.
No,
wow.
They're not the
Well,
Ents.
Jammer, it was nice hearing from you again.
Yeah.
We'll catch you in about
I'm trying to
5 years.
normalize, bad opinions here on the podcast. So I'm sure someone out there is just like, yes, I'm that one person who also doesn't care. And looks like I didn't care about Fishman Island back in the day before we got there.
You weren't alone there.
But before we got there, I was just like, I don't care about Fishman Island.
Oh, you bastard.
Well then, you ended up being on the right side of history there.
Yeah,
that was just luck.
we're gonna put you back in the podcast vault, though.
Thank you. I mean, I was the one guy cheering for Kuro back in the day, so there you go.
Cheering for Kuro. Oh boy.
You're a wonderful human being, Jammer.
I know. Thank you.
Right. So Jeff, I heard you used JoyBonney. I've also heard Joy Girl and Bonica. Which one are we going with?
I like JoyBonney. That was cute.
JoyBonney.
Rolls off the
Yeah.
tongue. Because
JoyBonney.
Girl Nika kind of just implies to underbend Luffy
Yeah.
to me.
Plus, we might have another girl Nico one day.
I think Joy Girl sounds so funny though.
Joy Boy and Joy Girl.
The Adventures of Joy Boy and Joy Girl in 3D.
Yeah, they sound like mascot characters.
Jet Boy and Jet Girl.
Yeah. Well, thank God Joy Girl wasn't just putting a bow on top of Luffy's head and making him wear lipstick and mascara.
Why
do I have to be Joy Girl?
Her lipstick does look like Miss Pac-Man, kind of.
Oh,
Well,
what
it
the
always
hell am I
has,
talking
though.
about? Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she's always has that. She's always had that. Vero, what are your other thoughts on the chapter?
Well, it's funny. Jammer was like, I don't care about giants. Jammer, full transparency, I went into this arc being like, I don't give a shit about Egghead. I don't go to my pirate manga for sci-fi, and I was proven wrong. So
I'm okay. I'm not going to complain if it ends up being good. I seriously will not. I'm just not super excited about going to Elbaf. I
am excited for Nami to get a cute Viking girl outfit that is hopefully cute.
They're gonna Red Sonya the fuck out of her. You know it's gonna happen.
I was like, I would like to see my girls not in underwear.
Oh no, it's gonna be underwear.
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna be
Zoro,
underwear.
but they look like they're
underwear.
wearing diapers in this one.
Yeah,
Zoro will have like a full fur coat.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
you'll look like a vagabond, not vagabond. Sorry,
Vinland Saga. Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
You know,
And Nami will be
and then
orange.
Nami will,
Orange Sonya.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, and then yeah.
Orange
And
Soda.
it's,
I was gonna say Nami will look like she's going to the pool. You know?
Yeah.
And
You
there'll
know,
be many,
I could help.
many figures.
You know,
of it.
she could have like a cute little chainmail bikini, but I'll give them. This is me shaking Oda's hand. I'm making a deal right now. Give her like a cute little side shoulder, animal pelt cape, right? Maybe cheetah print, maybe a
cool.
little section or something. Please.
I can see that.
Chopper's just side eyeing everybody in the crew.
He's like splattering red paint on everybody.
Yeah. We're not here to talk about. Sorry, the Southern just jumped out. We're not here to talk about Elbaf, though. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was super cute. Sad I was spoiled. I would have loved to swipe to that on my own and been like, "Holy shit!" But you know, I was still super excited to see her. I thought it was super cute. I can't wait to watch her beat people up. And I think if you are like, her power doesn't make sense, then you aren't paying attention to the rest of what Oda's been doing for 1,100 chapters. That's all I gotta say.
Right on. All right, Alex, what's up? What do you think of the chapter?
What is up? I'll tell you what's up.
What's
This
up?
chapter. This was great. Yeah. What a okay. I said earlier on Discord I didn't see it coming, but yeah, I mean everything was sort of leading up to this a bit. Given how Bonnie's powers kind of work, I really love this though. If it has anything to do with like Luffy's that weird secondary power about bringing people together, maybe that's like, you know, part of Nika's whole thing, and eventually maybe we're just gonna see like everybody be Nika.
I was thinking
would be
that when
really
I was like,
awesome.
let's be Nika together.
Yeah, let's all be Nika. Like, let's all be free, right? Like, I think
Mhm.
maybe that's close to what his dream is, I think. Something like that, where everybody's just going to be like... everybody's going to be like the Dodo from Wacky Land versus, like, I don't know, Blackbeard. He's going to be like, you know, super grimdark. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, excellent chapter. Cool action. Bonnie's powers, yeah, it totally makes sense. And I loved the little throwback to Kuma's flashback at the end there. I thought that was it's nice to keep sort of, you're not really bookending it because they keep sort of bringing it back. Like, hey, remember the Kuma flashback. It gives it a little more weight.
think he gives it a lot more weight actually, because this is like his best day ever, and I don't even know if he could feel it because it's like,
Oh my god,
his daughter is finally free, and he gets to see Nika. That's pretty cool, and his daughter kind of gets to be Nika at the same time.
The irony too of like the entire reason that she has these powers to begin with is because of the elders experimenting on her.
Mm-hmm.
So this is sort of like everything just coming back to bite them in the ass. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. I'm gonna ask Steven this later, but the 2 Nikas definitely sounds like he had the I'm seeing double for Krusties in mind for that one. Yeah, super good. What this ultimately means for the rest of the series is actually super fun. I'm looking forward to seeing where this takes us.
I hate to be this guy, but
go ahead.
What do the long-term prospects look like for Bonney and the Straw Hats?
I think she's gonna hang out with them.
Do you think she's gonna be another law character? Or like
I feel like she's our law, or I don't know if she's joining the crew. I've given up on guessing that, but
it's just such a weird connection. It's just such a strong connection with them. Their stories have been weaving it in and out, and then to kind of culminate to this, it just feels weird that it's going to be another ship passing in the night.
But I thought that with Yamato, so
yeah, that's
I don't know anything anymore.
Well, she's also she's already a captain of her own crew. I mean, so is Jinbei. But Jinbei and Luffy I guess they went through a very similar thing together. But what's her goal after this? What's her dream really? I mean,
it's a good question.
She's kind of gotten what she wanted, but like she's got to come up with something to do going forward.
Like, I guess the question is, if she wants to be most free, is she most free going off by herself, or is she most free going with the most free man in the world?
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think it depends on where Kuma lands. Because if there's a way to save Kuma, and he doesn't die here, then I think that's her story. And that gives her like a nice out to get her away from the Straw Hats, to try to go figure out how to save him. But if he's done here, then I think, why not just throw on the Straw Hats?
He is seemingly still alive at this point.
Yeah.
It's not really clear, but...
My question is, what purpose does she serve as a member of the crew? That's the other. I'm like, what else? She's her own captain. I feel like she wouldn't. Yeah. I'm also still Avivi is the last piece. Truth or
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I mean, especially her family's role in the current situation too.
Mm-hmm. I do think she's going to hang out with them probably till the end of the line,
I think.
But let's be real. I feel
get
like
off at Elbaf, honestly.
You think she's getting off at Elbaf?
Yeah, I think she's getting off at Elbaf. I think this is a Trafalgar sort of situation, or she'll become part of the Grand Fleet. Because the way I see it is when we go to Elbaf, we're also going to see the remains of the Kid pirates. They're going to need some place to go. I could see them joining the Grand Fleet. I could see Bonney and her crew eventually getting back together and joining the Grand Fleet. But it's as Jeff says, I think, like Kuma is the linchpin for what she's doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have my left field question then for everybody. Okay. I feel like all of the having to remember characters' names and things, all of the worst gen, all of them have had story parts so far, right? We've gotten something from everybody.
No. One.
I was waiting to make my joke, but okay.
Sorry,
continue.
I was probably loud. Let me finish. I'm just kidding. And then Bonney came out of left field at the very end. I was like, I wasn't expecting her to be important. What's the other guy?
Rouge. Oh, no one cares about him. I hate
poor Rouge.
You know what it is?
Do we think he's just gonna pop up and be like, "What's up, everybody? I'm here now."
I don't.
You don't like his smile?
No. He has the same Dorian Broggie. That Dorian Broggie smile. He has that Dorian Broggie smile, which is why I think that's part of why I don't like the Giants.
Gonna be
I think I'm discovering this right now.
You don't trust the Giants.
I didn't say I didn't trust them. I just said I don't like them.
Like one-on-one and understand your vibes-based assessments of these games.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm pretty anarchic.
Did a clown hurt you? Is that why the smiles are freaking you out?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Jammer hated the Dressrosa arc. It's like Smile Factory. I don't like it.
I don't know
He'd
why.
be right for it.
All right.
Okay, but that was a serious question, though. Do we think Rouge the Bat?
I was
is
gonna
coming
joke.
back?
I'm like, poor Rouge is just waiting for his turn. You know.
I mean, Rouge does have that giant smile. Elbaf. There you go. He's part giant, part what was he? Sky person.
Yeah, he is a Sky Island guy. So
Yeah.
But
there's
I feel like they have to.
opportunities there.
No, we just finished the story and we cut to Rouge still smiling, saying, "This is the worst day of my life."
I'd like to see him like chilling in a lazy river somewhere, unbothered and moisturized and away from the conflict. You know,
Yeah, I think I could be okay with No Rouge going forward. I can be on board with that.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but I wouldn't be mad.
I'll just say if the greatest thing we ever get from him is just that verse on this Worst Generation Supernova Cipher, then that works for me. I don't need anything else from him.
Mhm.
I'm curious about his power. He's got a weird power that hasn't been revealed yet.
Mm. Making people smile.
No, seriously.
Maybe. Hey.
That's
If he could cure smiles, then he could fix my boy Killer and an entire Wano of people.
Mhm.
Fix him. He's perfect.
Yeah, you're right. That's fair.
All right. Steve, what are your thoughts on the chapter?
Yeah, this was like a short chapter, but it felt very dense. I'll just say, was not expecting this at all. I know there was like a little bit of hints there because, you know, Bonney would often do Distorted Future and say Nika like. I would have never predicted this. Another Super Saiyan? What? Never. I'm like really surprised, but I think another friend asked me what my thoughts were. I just said, I'm just perplexed. You know, I'm curious what exactly this means. Like, is this just Bonney being able to recreate just this form, or is this like an unlocked ability that any Devil Fruit user could do? Because when we saw the awakened Zoans of Lucci and Kaku, as well as the potentially the elders, we don't know for sure if they're Devil Fruit Zoan users too, but like they have the black, you know, ring of smoke around them. And so I'm just wondering if it's just like a pure of heart thing or something like that, you know, like
I think it has to be tied to her ability.
I think it might be tied to Luffy's though. Like I think
too.
Luffy's
Yeah.
Luffy's influence to bring people together. I think that's part of the Nika thing, and I think now that he's awakened, he can maybe imbue this power onto other people by sheer force of happiness or something.
I want Luffy to do this to Zoro and just, oh god, yeah, the power scalers will like have fit.
Zoro.
No, I just want him to have like
the Delaney
I want
face.
Zoro to have fun.
I want Zoro to have like talking swords, like like the talking bullets in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's what I want. I want one of them to sound like Pat Buttram. That's what I want.
Yeah, Slim Pickens.
Yeah. But other than that, it seems like, you know, it seems like we're almost out of here. I'm waiting for like what's like the last what's the last big hurdle they got to climb, and it seems like it seems like this robot is, you know, the Iron Giant is going to have one last, boost, and hopefully comes up and relays a little bit more of that message or something. But
his real name is Peter Parker.
Oh, how modern of you!
Who's like so old already?
I actually, yeah. Now that I think about
like
it,
4 years old,
5 years old,
or 5 years old. It's insane.
There was no global pandemic. What are you talking about? But besides, I don't know. Like, it just felt like, you know, very positive. Like it was a positive chapter. Like, it kind of left you feeling kind of hopeful of things to come, despite everything that's happened on Egghead. It seems like, you know, we're gonna be all right, I think. Other than that, yeah, we talked about, you know, like the artwork with York. I wanted to mention that. Other than that, sorry, I'm just skimming through it. No, other than that, that's about it. It was a good one. Are we still on for next week?
That's what the Viz site says, but
Viz.
I haven't asked Steven yet, so
I believe
sure.
we do have another chapter next week.
Cool. Then I'm not angry. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. To see some fighting.
Yeah. My deal on this chapter is just to see the relationship between the Iron Giant and Joy Boy. So, like, this Iron Giant seems to be having, he's got like some sort of sentience. He's got a memory. Like, he remembers seeing Joy Boy the last time, and maybe, I don't know, why would he wake up 200 years ago and attack Mary Joa? And, was there a Joy Boy around at that time 200 years ago? We don't really know what else was going on in the world then, but it's an interesting thing to think about, that he's finally sort of waking up and seeing, Joy Boy was there. Now Joy Boy is back, and it means a lot to him. So, he was, I think he was losing heart. I think that's why he was able to be taken out by the elders. Granted, the elders aren't very strong, but he is incredibly strong, and he was, knocked off. But I think that was because he was losing his power, because Luffy had been off of Gear 5, off of Nika form for some time. Now, as soon as that came back, he came, he had like passed out at the beginning of the chapter, and by the end of the chapter, he's like, there you are, Joy Boy. Yeah. So
I hope that Luffy's dream is like to be friends with everybody or whatever, and then through Nika is like everybody gets to be Nika because we're all buddies. I think that would be a perfect dream for a 10-year-old boy to have, or how old he was, 8.
Right. Everyone's gonna dance around like like they did at the festival on Skypiea.
I want a big party
for Gold. Yeah, exactly. He wants to have a big party. Everyone, and weren't the wolves dancing, like doing the Nika dance during that?
They were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
sorry, go ahead. I'm talking.
I love the little kid versions of the giraffe and Bluegrass and Doll.
That was very cute.
Yeah, Doll with her like her scene gear, but also like,
yeah,
I love it. Yeah, she's and I do love that Bluegrass. Bluegrass is the same. She doesn't change really at all. And a cute little Jeffrey there for everybody.
Do we have a confirmation of whether or not does this permanently change them? I'm assuming not, but I don't know anymore now that her abilities kind of shifted.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like a distance thing. Like, do you have to be in proximity to the Devil Fruit user? How strong is the Devil Fruit power?
That picture, that meme that's like proximity to Ludacris, and like the kids are more and more sad the farther they are. Nobody knows. That's okay. I'll drop the picture sometime.
It could be like Spider-Man's web fluid, where after like 2 hours it wears off or something.
There you go.
I don't know if you guys mention Spider-Man this much normally, or if it's just because I'm here. Or...
That's what I wanted to know.
It does pick up when Alex is here, definitely. Alex is the big Spider-Man fan,
especially when it's pizza time.
Spider fan. Yeah, but I'm excited for. I really like Alex's theory of Joy Boy, Nika, or whatever you want to call it. This power of his is the power to, make the entire world free. And that's. Luffy wanted to being the Pirate King to him means to be the person who is the most free. And she's sort of, I don't know, Joy Boy is kind of imposing that on everybody. But that's his philosophy. That's everyone's better off if they are the most free. So, I don't have much else to add, but I love seeing Luffy in this Gear 5 form, and I love the way that, like, you were talking about where Bonney would go after this, what purpose she would have, but just to see her, maybe she and Kuma get to be a family. Maybe they don't have to go on an adventure, because if you remember back to their flashback, it's just they were, when they got to play, sort of basically play family together, basically have their own. They had their house and granted she had to be inside, but and just the way she was growing up, they got to catch up on lost time. Kuma gets to be, the dad that he always wanted to be, and if that's if they get to have a happy ending, I kind of hope that's the happy ending. Like, she's not going to be some kid apprentice on Luffy's ship journeying to the final island with everybody. Like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like that's what her dream would be. I don't know that she would necessarily even want to see that, but she'd rather just sort of have her dad and have him be home and have that. So
I love that idea because it just makes me want to think about what her devil fruit could ultimately be. As her character arc is that she doesn't need to be anything different than she is now because everything is perfect as it is. And so she could just be your 12-year-old or 10-year-old self, how old she is again, and just continue to live life as it is.
Bonnie's had to grow up pretty quickly. Maybe she wants to be a kid. She gets to be a kid. That's her reward. That's, childhood. Nobody necessarily likes being a child. Everyone wants to grow up, but when you get older, you realize how important it was and how much you miss it, especially the lack of responsibilities. Anyway,
then I could buy all the toys I've always wanted.
Well, that is a bit of having your cake and eating it too, but you actually do get to do that. Okay. Anyone have any final thoughts on the chapter?
My final thoughts are, yes, I like the idea of the Iron Giant coming back to life and giving one last boost, but there's one character that we keep forgetting about.
Give
Kizaru.
it to me. Who?
Oh,
Kizaru. Oh, it's fine.
Kizaru. I think he's gonna help them escape. I think he's gonna be their last ditch.
He should.
Is he on a Navy ship somewhere? Where is he right now?
Yeah, he's on the Navy ship, feeling sorry for himself.
Right. Maybe. Hopefully, not one of the ones that just got sunk.
But I keep thinking about him because there's the new volume cover where he's skanking on the front with everybody, and he was part of that little makeshift family, Vegapunk and Sentomaru and Bonney and Kuma and all that.
Right,
So
good point.
I think that he feels like maybe he owes it to them to help them escape because look at the elders. They're big fucking monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's afraid of them.
And he would understand better than anybody else because we saw the Navy Marines in this chapter. Like, the hell is that thing? What's going on in Egghead? Is this some sort of monster? They have no idea what that actually is, but he knows. So he's the one who, when he's been given knowledge and he has to make a choice. You can't just have gray area, man. You gotta you have to make a choice here. You have to make good or evil here. Choose. Forcing
Are
you to
your
choose.
clouds gonna be white or black?
What?
His awakened.
His awakened Joy Boy clouds or whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, Lucci and Kaku had the black aura clouds and Joy
I
Boy's
want to
got
see
the white
Lucci and
ones.
Kaku be awakened, and then they see Luffy, and they're like, "I'm just writing shit now. I'm kidding."
Just imagine
His clouds turn white.
Kaku and Lucci doing the Nika thing, and Lucci is somehow trying to resist it. But
He's like the Grinch,
Kaku's totally into it. He loves this Nika stuff because he's a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't feel too bad about writing your own fan fiction. I've seen a lot of fan art that's just Gearfifth Luffy holding a beheaded freaking.
You reminded me. I want to see.
What's his face? Spider.
Yeah, Blackbeard. I was gonna say Kaido.
Not, who's Mr. Spider again?
Saturn.
Saturn.
Penis Juro.
No, I think it was Saturn.
What?
Last week I was begging Steve to say the phrase because the character Venus Juro was on, and I was like, "Can you please, for me, I'm invoking partner privileges. I need you to say more like penis Juro," and he didn't. But that's the only reason I'm here today is to say it.
Well, it was good having you on. We'll see you again.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Anyway, I want to see how they do Bonney. Are they gonna? Because I haven't been entirely 100% thrilled with how the anime has depicted Joy Boy because they're kind of going for the so badass. He's red demon eyes, and I'm like, guys, what are we doing? He's like a little guy, he's silly. And I wonder what they're gonna do with Bonney.
Actually, on this page, he's a giant little guy now.
He is he's my very big little guy. I think we all have one.
Yamato.
Yeah, Yamato's my big little guy.
All right, I think we're all set here. Let's get into the anime recap, and then we're going to do some piece together.
This is the anime recap for episode 1109, A Tough Decision, an Unusual United Front. I'm your host, Sam, and today with me, we have... we have Ed.
Hey! It's me.
And joining us today, we also have Mike and Ike's own Steve Yurko.
I like Mike and Ike.
Did anybody see that movie? The Like Mike
little-
movie?
What's that, like,
With the magic
Bow Wow?
shoes? Yeah.
No.
No?
Have you?
Yeah.
How many times?
At least twice.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
Ed doesn't watch movies.
There was a movie where they found some worn out basketball shoes, and it had the initials MJ written in there, and Bow Wow, and I think the kid from
Like Mike, yes.
and then the kid from Jerry Maguire were like, oh my god, it's got to be Michael Jordan shoes, and then Bow Wow wears them, and he's also really good at basketball. Then I assume at some point he loses the basketball shoes, and then like Jerry Maguire kid has to be like, no, the basketball skills were in you always.
Anime.
No, also the reason the shoes had powers is that they got struck by lightning.
Of course.
Oh, lightning. Yeah, I forgot the magical powers of lightning back in the 90s.
And he like plays with like NBA players at the end or something. All right. Anyway. The episode opens with a very quiet stare down with a little like zapping cable in the background from the destruction in the lab. As S Snake and S Bear are staring down Zoro and Luffy. And Luffy's asking Zoro if he recognizes S-Hawk's power, because Zoro kind of made a comment like that in the last episode. And so Zoro says, yes, I fought him when we were doing all that stuff with Baroque Works. If you remember Luffy, there was a guy, I don't know if you saw him, Luffy, but he had knives for hands. And suddenly we turn into just a crazy zip-zapping around as S-Hawk. He's got like the claw hands and he's like going in for the kill, and just crazy, wild fight scene of like Zoro. Zoro's not really like fighting back. He's like trying to pull Kaku out of S-Hawk's way, as S-Hawk is just like throwing himself crazy. And it's like a very kind of, it's everything's kind of restrained within this lab room area. Mm-hmm. So everything kind of all the action kind of has to bounce off the walls, and just like we're going between like kind of goofy, very fluid looking like reaction shots of like Kaku like going, whoa, I'm almost getting killed.
Being tossed like 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, the allusions to Mr. One himself appearing as like colored pencil drawings, it looks like.
Yeah, this whole thing is super cool. I mean, this is worth the price of admission right here. This sequence. I could watch this like 20 times.
Yeah, I know a lot of this was animated by Vincent Chanzard, who's definitely made quite the name for himself in recent years. I strongly recommend looking at his on Twitter. His handle is @SparkleRedPanda, and he went into like an extremely thorough breakdown of like just like the thought process and like what the kind of the goal was with this fight scene, it's like way more thorough. It's almost like a Henry Thurlow podcast in Twitter form.
Yeah. I like how he goes into the thought process behind like S-Hawk is this sort of young guy who doesn't have like fight knowledge, but he has this incredible skill, and so he's sort of throwing himself at it, and Zoro is defending it, but he's not really attacking at this point. He's just sort of him throwing Kaku around, and just like the way the camera moves around him while he's doing it, and but also Kaku yelling at him is also very funny.
Yeah, like the kind of principle behind the fight scene is Zoro, like the choreography wise, Zoro is not fighting back. It's all attack and defending and deflecting and dodging, and like how that kind of like feeds into their two different fight styles. Just like a lot of really interesting thought put into it for sure.
Yeah, I wound up not watching it I wound up not watching it all the way like through. I started like pausing and
Yeah.
and looking at stuff because just watching the way S-Hawk's like arms and hands would move, I'm like, hold on, I gotta get a better look at that. It was stupendous. Yeah.
And we get like a brief moment of levity as Zoro and Luffy regroup, and they're asking like, "Hey, Kaku's like, hey, where'd Lucci go?" And Luffy's just like, "Oh, I just put him over there on the other side of the room." And sort of like it's just like this funny punctuation that like Zoro is tossing Kaku around to keep him out of the way, and then like Luffy has supposedly just like gingerly placed Lucci out of the way.
And I love the
forgotten about
animation of Luffy gesturing. It's like, oh yeah, I just put him over there on the other side of the room. The little like pointing of the thumb is another brilliant touch. Some great animation there.
But the action doesn't let up because like we get that brief joke, like it feels kind of like a punchline to all the cool action. But S-Hawk is not done. He turns his feet into skates and goes right back into it. So now we are back into the action. And then eventually Luffy does just pull Lucci back in to frame so that he can converse with the rest of the characters in the scene. And Shaka steps in and he's asking CP0 about their mission and asking like, since you're here to kill me and Stussy betrayed you and is working for me, like, does that mean she's going to be in trouble too? And Lucci confirms that, like, yep.
And Kaku's like, shut up. Some really great, character acting with Kaku too throughout this.
And then they all hear like Nami screaming, and then in another scene elsewhere, Sanji is also hearing Nami scream. He's like, "Oh no, I have to go save her." And Nami's group is staring down S Shark, and then S Shark starts charging up a laser, and Edison's there, and Edison's like, "Wait, I know what we're supposed to do in a situation. I made this laser, so like I know the response to it." And Nami and Usopp have this like moment of relief, like, "Oh, okay, then tell us." Or is it Nami and Brook? Is Usopp in the scene? I can't
Nami
remember.
and Brook. Yeah.
Nami and Brook. Nami and Brook are like, "Oh, that's great. Tell us what it is." And Edison's like, "Run!"
Very Joseph Joestar.
Yeah.
Love him.
Zoro is like, he's kind of talking out loud, trying to get a count in his head of everybody who he's supposed to protect, which would be the 7 Vegapunks and possibly the CP0 agents. And this is when S Bear starts making a big paw bubble, which Zoro also recognizes. He's also very familiar with this technique as well. Although it's more expected that the one who looks like Kuma would have Kuma's powers. So Shaka gives Luffy the keys to the handcuffs and says, "I'll trust your judgment as to what to do with those guys there, the CP0. And like Luffy turns to Lucci like, "Hey, if we team up and defeat the enemy, you're not just going to like lash out at my friends, right? You're not going to take it out on them that I beat you, right?" And then Lucci's like, "Of course not. Because I'm going to kill you first." And that Luffy seems to accept those terms.
Well, yeah, I mean, he knows he can defeat him, but he's just, yeah. Lucci's he's a straightforward kind of guy.
Yeah, as long as Luffy's like, as long as I'm the barrier between you and my friends, then that's fine. Whatever, good, yeah. I can take it. So Luffy goes Gear 4 for the first time in a while now. It feels. Gear 4 bounce man, and Lucci's like jumping up behind him, like they're preparing for like a cool team up lunge attack. And on the ground, Zoro and Kaku are, posing and getting ready for their clash with S-Hawk. And they go for it. At the same time, Luffy is doing like a Gum Kong gun, and Lucci's doing the 6 King pistol, and they take out their respective opponents with a pair of cool team up attacks.
Yeah, more.
Brings us to the.
It's not quite the Sakuga level of the first scene, but this is also extremely cool looking.
I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool, and it's kind of cool that like you have like these 2 different pairs of former adversaries. Like Luffy and Lucci are, clearly antagonistic to each other. Zoro and Kaku much softer. Like it's much less hurtful to their pride to team up with each other. They're not as stubborn in this team up.
Yeah, because when Zoro defeated Kaku at Eni's lobby, they kind of like had like a bit of like a laugh,
a bromance.
Yeah, they don't hate each other. They don't feel embarrassed to be fighting alongside each other.
No.
And that brings us to the Aikatsu of the episode. We come back and we arrive at some island in the New World, according to the narrator. There's a bar in a small port, and a child asking for the cool older pirate in his life to take him along on the crew, while said cool older pirate rejects him and says, "Oh, sorry, kid, you're just a little kid.
Come back when you're older."
Come back when you're older. Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. I love that kid's face. He's just like the pink hair and the covering like the eye. He kind of looks like Sanji a little bit with the hair, but like he's got these great little kid faces of pouting, but also then yelling and he's fun. He's a fun little character.
I was waiting for like there to be like a good establishing shot where like it's clearly like the Luffy and Shanks scene, except the Luffy analog is a giant child who's much larger than Shanks.
Well, that's what one of the things I want to mention was it was very clever how they boarded the sequence, because it was never an establishing shot. It was always kid, Shanks, or another red-haired pirate, always back and forth. So,
but I was waiting for like
deceptive.
That pull-out where like
eventually that's gonna be the big shot. Reveals like, oh yeah, they're at Elbaf, so they're surrounded by giants. I think it was very clever. I think they did a great job with that.
Here comes Rockstar.
Here comes Rockstar. Ben Beckman's here, Lucky Roo's here, Yasop. They're all chowing down on what looks like giant cherries or something.
Yeah.
Some giant red berries and giant slabs of meat. Rockstar appears because somebody is attacking them. The audience has a chance to kind of slowly put the pieces together. That like, oh, right, kid was arriving at Elbaf earlier. This seems like this is probably Elbaf. So this is that scene and this scene are now intersecting. Shanks stands up. He's like, "Oh, is it good or bad timing that we were just about to head out and leave, that this attack begins?" And then I wasn't sure what was being suggested here, where Shanks is like, "Oh, I got caught up. I was talking to some old friends," and like there's a shot of like, it looks like there's a mystery person in the foreground that Shanks might be talking to. Kind of feels like Toei wasn't exactly sure either what was being implied in the manga, so they're sort of covering their bases that they could reveal this as somebody later or something.
I always thought he was referring to Dory and Brogy.
I did too, but like there's a shot of like Shanks getting up, and there's a guy. It looks like a guy's shoulder in the foreground, and it looks like it looks like it could be implying that there's like some mystery person we're gonna learn later was hanging out with Shanks here. But it's also possible that that's nothing. So the red-haired pirates are heading out, and Dory and Brogy are here. They're on the island with them, and they're arriving. They're following behind Shanks, and Shanks is kind of asking them for, "Hey guys, you want to give some assistance here?" And we get the crew round up with the title cards: Ben Beckman, Yasop, Lucky Roo, Hongo, Building Snake, Howling Gabu, Lime Juice, Monster, and Bunk Punch.
That's so nice that they all get introductions like that.
Of course, because half of them never been referred to by name in the show at all. So.
Yeah, maybe in film.
Has
Red.
Building Snake gone by like different names before? Because like that's just such a funny name. I can't believe that doesn't ring a bell. Like I don't have any memories of anybody joking about some guy named Building Snake.
I mean, who could forget?
Like Lime Juice, I remember. Hongo, I remember. Bonk Punch, I remember.
And apparently the monkey's name is Monster.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Now, that like dates way back, I think.
Yeah. Anyway.
And Shanks is like, hey, so go tell that kid that we're coming, but ask him if he really wants to fight or if he just wants to hand over his poneglyph and leave. Yeah, you could do this the easy way or the hard way. Is basically the kid's choice.
This is the part of like Shanks is going for the One Piece now. Like he's going for, because he had been holding off until now, but he's going after the poneglyphs.
Yeah, because Kid would have a rubbing of the Wano poneglyph that was shared between the trio.
Yep.
Kid and his crew are approaching by sea in their little like shark boat. It's not little,
Victoria Punk.
The Victoria Punk. Shanks is arriving at the shore, and he's got many fans, just like many kind of disparate allied pirate groups, or like people who have just kind of chosen to attach themselves to him, and they're just kind of clinging on to him and fawning over him. And there's a panda man standing around in the background. Back on the kid pirates. So like there's been a couple of shots of like the memory, quote unquote, of Shanks losing his arm, which most of the time they cut to that and it's just like a red blotch kind of glowing from. It's like a gray image.
What, Kid
can't really
losing
tell
his arm?
what's going on in the scene. Because Kid and Shanks fought at some point in the past, and that's how Kid lost his arm.
I thought Beckman took his arm.
I guess there's a scene where it kind of makes it look like that, in like the way that it's juxtaposed.
Okay.
I thought he did say in this
hold
episode
on.
that he like they didn't even make it to Shanks.
Right. Yeah. Like, and I think Lucky Roo was like talking to Beckman, like, yeah.
Oh, there was an SBS where Oda says it was Ben Beckman who took Kid's arm.
Yeah.
And there's a shot where they're sort of suggesting that with the editing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely implied here. I remember reading that.
But I'm mostly remarking on like the vague image of like Kid, black and white Kid, and like kind of this red blotch kind of growing out of his arm where he's losing the arm. And I remember thinking like, okay, that's kind of a weird, like not super hardcore representation of Kid losing his arm. Yeah. But then like later in the episode, there's another shot of Kid remembering his arm, like just going flying, just completely severed, and that was way cooler. So Killer's like warning Kid, like, hey, this time they won't just take your arm, they'll take your life. And then Kid, grins. He's like, that's only if I lose, right? Dun dun dun. To be continued. And for our little Lilith and Edison edutainment section, we talk about Mr. One, Dawes Bones.
It's funny, because they show the stuff from episode 1. Is it 119? Yeah, that's Zoro versus Mr. One. The quality decrease from that, and then seeing Mr. One help out Luffy at Marineford, I was like, oh
yeah.
But the Zoro versus Mr. One episode is like they definitely.
That was a standout.
Put some
back then.
Yeah, that was a standout back then. So
it has good aura. It's very cool. It's the things we love about Zoro.
General thoughts on this episode, you guys?
Oh, this is fun as hell. Love this episode.
Oh yeah, love this episode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been on the recap in a bit, but this one. Well, Sam was here in my live reactions earlier because we were hanging out, but yeah, I love the Luffy Zoro Kaku Lucci stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think the setup to the reveal that Shanks and crew are on Elbaf, I think was clever. I really loved the background design of Elbaf from what I've seen. Those mountains were gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
They
do this weird sort of shimmering effect on them, like it's like I don't know, like they had
like it's the sunrise.
Yeah. It's and I was just watching. I've been watching through Whole Cake Island on the discs as they come out, and I was just watching like the Linland flashback, the first one during the party, during the wedding, and LBF there's a lot of possibility. It already looked pretty cool then, but seeing what they can do here is there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, I thought this episode was fantastic. Great S-Hawk. It's just like the first half is a great fight, and the second half is just like a nice change of pace and scenery, and a very intriguing setup to a very interesting fight that's going to happen. And just like seeing characters they haven't seen for a while in this very refreshing context.
I love that. I love that first half of the episode. It's just so important to me as a Zoro fan that Zoro gets to be extremely cool and like the best fighter and like the most fun to watch. Like this is why we're fans of the guy in the first place. This is like, I don't know. The other characters don't get to be cool like that, but I'm heavily biased. I'm a Zoro fanboy, so I just love to see my man be the coolest fucking dude in the series.
All right. Anything else you got? Sorry, Steve.
Sorry, Mr. Sanji is cool. I know.
Yeah, we got to get you a Yahoo email account.
Anything else you guys would like to say before we move on to the next segment?
Nope, just a real fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. All right, thank you guys. Let's move on.
All right.
In here.
There's always a stinkier fish.
Oh, Mori. Oh no!
I was gonna make a reference to Lord's hit single Supercut, but I know my audience here. You guys won't know it. It's a banger though.
Doo-doo judge.
Yeah. Okay.
Crash into bosses. Hey, blibber dem banished.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, your comments, your theories, your reasons why it should be JoyBonney, JoyGirl, or Bonnica. Let the debate rage on. But first, our first segment on Piece Together this week is This Piece. Alex?
Well, here's a piece of this piece, starting with Usopp the Great, who says, "Hey ho, OPP. In the past, I would my other series read my other series first, Akane Banashi, Roboco, etc., then One Piece, to build up and save the best for last. But now I have to start it right away. It's like a drug, in and out callback. This week my dealer was short and could only give me 12. Sorry, not enough, but you won't catch me on the street with those scants to top me up. But I wanted to say that I called this on, that if you believe in Joy Boy, you can be Joy Boy. Chapter this week confirms that, at least for Bonney, and yes, now the Iron Giant awakens again, trembling in anticipation. And the anime was very dope this week, with some really nice animation fights. I'm always rewarded with the anime and fight scenes, as I can see much better what Oda had in mind in 3 dimensions. Donate to my research fund.
Hell yeah.
So I understood like a third of what that person said. Can someone explain some of this to me?
Stream of thought.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I will
say...
basically saying that we only got 12 chapters this week, but it was still great. If you believe in Joy Boy, then you can be Joy Boy. That's
I got that stuff.
Works,
the research fund was the other thing that threw me off. What is that?
The research fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
This did make me think I would love to see in fan art people interpreting either their like OCs or other characters as Joy Boy. I want to see that. I want to see everybody as Joy Boy now.
I would like to see that too.
Yeah, be cute.
Super Nintendo Chalmers says Luffy opened up a Nika college because he made some irresponsible financial decisions, and Bonney is the first graduate. There, she learned all the tricks of the trade, including memorizing funny place names. What were the funny place names that she had to memorize? Well, first of all, Cucamonga, Walla Walla,
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo, Elbaf.
Elbaf.
We got to think of actual funny
Just Elbaf.
One Piece location names. Elbaf is one of them.
Dress Olga.
Banero Island.
Banana Island.
Panera Bread.
Rogue Town.
That's Nuts Island. Of course. Yelav Dog. What are some other favorites? Some old standards. Old
Vice
podcast.
Admiral Mamunga.
Mamunga. You sounded like the podcast announcer. And here comes Mamunga.
What about just all the alternative 4Kids island names? All those. Whatever those are.
Oh, yeah. Probably like
Rogue Town. That's about
no,
it.
there's a
Fruity Island.
Misty Peak.
Misty Peak.
Misty Peak, yeah.
Like I said, I gave it the tone that there's plenty. Those are the two I know. I'm not sure if there's any others.
Unfortunately.
I'm not sure if there's
That's
any
it.
others.
Goat Island.
Goat Island.
What's the island with Gaimon? Did it have a name?
Strange Animals Island.
There you go.
Yeah, Island of the Strange Animals, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Misty Peak. Unfortunately, we never made it to the Brock archipelago.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I did. I'm
or
sorry.
the
You were just sitting there biting your
or
lips like, what are they going to notice? What are they going to understand the joke?
or Trace Island. Tracy.
Trace Island.
Right?
Yeah.
Tracy Sketchit. That's his name. Trace is the One Piece one. It's Ace.
Yeah.
There you go.
God. All right. Next. Professional Poyo. Here. Good day, OPP. Nika, more like Ni-ka, kanji number joke for you.
Oh.
Um,
As in knee as in two,
Cool.
for those who don't know.
yes. Anyways, how do we think Nika Bonnie's powers are going to work now? Are they going to mimic Luffy's cartoon zaniness, or will it just be a heightened version of her normal ability? If the latter, what are the chances that she transforms Venustro into a tiny little burp?
Venustro is the worm?
No, he's the centaur man.
Oh, right. He's the
Half man, half centaur.
centaur. He turns him into a chess piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do like your idea, Alex, that it's based on, you know, she can do anything that Nika can do because Nika is the source of all this power in the first place.
Yeah. Nika's within us all.
But it's all kind of
Within us
tied to her
all. Within us
imagination,
all.
too, specifically. So it's like, I think this points the idea that she kind of needs to see that something is possible on some level before maybe she can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
What if she uses her power to heal Kuma and get his memory back?
Mhm.
I think people will be mad about that as a Deus Ex Machina.
It could still work, but I think people will still be mad about it. Yeah.
We have Sabo.
Porque nos dos.
We can, you
Yeah.
know, we got Sabo back. I feel like we can have this too.
I know I've always Steve not liking Sabo. What else is new?
Not
I totally
too much
forgot
on my
because-
Pookie.
Really? Pookie, more like Poochie.
My
Oh.
poopsies.
My poor little poopsies. No, because I was watching last week's anime episode, which was a special, like a recap, and they were showing the Straw Hat Grand Fleet toast scene, and I hear them say, sake cups in Japanese, and it's sake zuki, and I forgot that was the that was the trigger for Sabo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? At the very least, and unfortunately that gets lost when you go from Japanese to English, but I'm like, that is a very creative, pun at least.
Mhm.
I still don't like I still don't like the amnesia
I don't like it
stuff,
either.
but I do like at least that.
ADHD Queen.
That was a great link. So it's like he's just like Dory the fish.
Yeah.
Did Sabo just forget who his family was?
Yeah, he's got
a
a little picture in his room to be like, that one's Luffy, that one was A.
I can't wait until we get to Elbaf and we name one of the episodes Finding Dory.
We never got to name an episode how Stelly got his groove back.
Well, let's
Yet.
yet.
That's not
Exactly.
And,
Or how Stella got his groove back.
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
you know
yeah.
what? If Vegapunk ends up surviving this,
Dude, he's gonna
maybe-
survive. He's
maybe
gonna
that-
survive.
Okay, make a pin.
They still have his body, right?
make a-
Like they're just tossing it around like a sack of potatoes and saying, "Oh, move him over
We
here."
need Keko Moria in here stat.
like a big sack of apples. All right. Double reverse eye patch says, "Oh, hey, Oda showed us a baby doll, and it wasn't even fan service. And we learned about 2 new giants just as they caught on fire, Bjorn and Sig. And Gear 5 is making all the boats dance around like Cuban Pete. I feel like all this cool stuff almost gets distracted by the amazing ending to that chapter. What are some great gags you feel have been overshadowed by big reveals like this?"
So I'm really self-conscious,
I
as
wouldn't
you all
remember.
know. Yeah, you all know I'm self-conscious about just not knowing names, and I just assume anyone that's named is someone I just forgot. So Bjorn and Sig, I assumed I just didn't remember who they were. So I didn't realize we were being introduced to 2 random giants. So thank you, Double Reverse Eye Patch, for letting me know that these are new names.
We're in the same boat.
Thank you.
I forget if I feel like I put it out there that I would love to see Luffy defeat a crowd of like Marines or world government agents by just doing a rendition of Cuban Pete. I would that's like, yeah, that's the epitome. I just had a brain fart because they something else. Oh,
Didn't he already do
Alex,
didn't he already do the mask thing of like avoiding a bullet by pulling his own crotch up?
he did
Yeah.
do that.
He did do that.
That was,
Yeah.
that was
the
in
little bridge
that
thing
versus
yeah.
Kaido.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Alex, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Of all the characters that JoyBonney has turned into like little children, little babies, who is Golden Lion Shiki's favorite?
Baby doll. Baby Chan.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We have fun. Alrighty.
Scott McNeil, everybody.
Yeah, the great Scott McNeil. I always think about this. It's funny you mentioned the drum arc. One of my favorite bits in the drum arc is when Luffy and Sanji are going up the mountain, and they're dodging all the Lapan, and like the big avalanche comes and like, you know, fucks everything up, and then Luffy has to carry everybody up. But like before that, there's this really great conversation that Luffy and Sanji just have. They're just sort of shooting the shit, not really like a gag, but like it's just 2 friends talking for like 2 pages, and it's my favorite fucking thing. And I feel like it gets completely like overtaken by the stakes that soon follow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. It's a great pull. I like that moment too.
Not to continue to dog on Sabo, but I remember the Sabo reveal. I remember thinking it was like huge that Koala was back in the story.
Yeah.
I really thought she was like a one and done flashback character, so I was kind of really excited to see her kind of, you know, and be like a student of Fishman karate, or a master, you should say. Something I've always enjoyed. I'm trying to remember anything else.
Well, if you remember it, chime in.
Krieg Pirates a week ago.
Oh yeah, that's yep. There it is. Okay, this comes from Sheepman. Howdy, OPP. Is it a safe bet now that the 1,000 Sunny will land on the ocean and be safe due to bounce house rules being effect? Ooh,
Hey.
we need to talk about that.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah. Yep, we're stealing it. Additionally, after reading the above comment about V. Nustro being transformed, what if the Vice Admirals being turned into kids is setting up a reveal that the Elders don't become younger when touched? It'd be one of those reveals that leaves more questions than answers, but would be pretty wild regardless. I want to say that if they all end up being like this is their final form, like their real form, like these monsters, they all ate devil fruits for like old man, like old man modeled Gorbachev,
Yeah.
old man modeled Longbeard.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
they're all
love
different
that.
devil fruit models of old person.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that would
Yeah.
quite track though, just because as far as like her ability isn't just like the age thing; it's like more imagination based. So They don't have to be
Well,
turned.
I also was like joking.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about you. I was actually referring back to the question. Sorry, not back to what you said.
Yeah.
What's next?
Anybody else? 46 Enels on the Moon says, "This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them." As we appear to be reaching the departure from Egghead, I'd like to ask again, who, if anyone, will be joining the Straw Hats? Lilith or Atlas? Scientists forced to flee their home who have a vested interest in discovering what the government has hidden. Bonney, who has gotten closure for her primary quest and has a strong connection with Luffy and his fruit.
I'm sitting here wondering what's going to happen to Lilith and Atlas. You know, it'd be kind of cool if they're tagging along. I feel like Lilith, given the nature of her sectioned personality, would have a blast with giants because she's like, or maybe it's Atlas because which one of them? It's Atlas that likes to blow shit up, right?
Yeah.
So they're just like, evil. Look at this giant child we have. She's just gonna go hit things with the other kids. So she could probably just hang out with the giants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned about Lilith because Lilith is evil. And we haven't seen Lilith do a real evil thing yet. And the evilest thing that Lilith can do is fuck over our friends. Or attempt to fuck over our friends.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried.
I feel like Lilith's whole point was just being like a red herring for us to think that she would be the one who's evil. So it's just at this point, it's like, what is there for her to do? She should have been
Alex, I will
hands
agree
after
with
coming
you.
out of the bathroom.
If she doesn't do anything actually evil, I will be a little disappointed because a certain man really likes to make women who are supposed to be bad not stay bad. I'm like, sometimes we can have a little bad guy. So yeah, I actually would like to see maybe she's like, actually, fuck it.
So is she evil
funny.
or is just like evil of what Vegapunk would consider evil? So I guess it's not like pure evil as much as it's like it's the potential evil for a specific person.
What is evil?
I mean, look at how greedy York is. Like York screwed over everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, what evil lies in the hearts of men. Only the Shadow knows, but Vegapunk also might know.
So what would Vegapunk's like level of evil be if, like, say we're on Elbaf and they're like, oh, how are we gonna take down the world government that we're fighting against now? And
she's like, I'm gonna call the world government.
Well, would Lilith be like, have you considered making some sort of atomic bomb?
Have I considered it? I am Vegapunk.
The last time, we're not making an atomic bomb.
Well, I'm
like,
Vegapunk.
I still have it out. If you guys
I'm Vegapunk. I'll do it anyway. I can do it by myself.
Yeah.
Screw you guys.
Exactly.
I think it would be pretty funny if Lilith was about to like screw them over, and you get this like really evil close up on her face, and then like Marcus Mard's bird monster comes out of nowhere and just chomps her up, and that was it. Like Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea,
or in Lake Placid.
Oh yes,
yeah,
like Samuel L. Jackson in Lake Placid. All right. Couple more. Sailor Karna is Universal says, "Hey OPP, this chapter has me wondering about the giant robot. Is it waterproof? Can it actually swim? It seems that the snail is okay inside of it, so maybe the transmission will start again."
I'd like to think if you could make a giant walking, talking robot, it's probably waterproof.
So would I.
Yeah.
I don't think it's sink proof though.
Yeah.
No.
Pretty heavy.
But now that it's reanimated, it could pop back up out of the water. We'll see.
How did they get the mechas out of the water in Pacific Rim? How'd they do that one?
I don't
CG.
think they show it.
They just walk out?
Yeah, they're all like the ocean. I feel like was always like knee deep. It was really annoying.
I don't know. Someone dust off their tumbler and check.
No. Eventually, they have to go down like the deep ocean.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because the fissures, they're coming every 12 minutes or what? Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know about the transmission starting up again. I think we've had it for that transmission.
You think so? I feel like we're gonna get one last.
What
thing.
about the D?
Yeah, we're going to get one last thing.
What about the mobile suits?
I wonder, like, what was powering like the fact that the transmission could go so far around the world? Was it something in the lab, or was it the power flowing through the giant itself? So if the power starts flowing back through it, would that start it back up again? I don't know. It's not clear.
We'll find out later. In the meantime, here's SNP with another This Piece. Hey, OPP, do you think Saturn will be fired for that experiment he did on Ginny 12 years ago? You know, the one that fed Bonney the useless devil fruit that allowed her to turn into Nika now? P.S. Yamato will probably finish all of his meal before stepping out of the flower capital
100%.
region, isn't it?
Yep. There you go.
In it. Yeah, we actually we totally covered that. We covered both those things.
Yippee!
In my recap. Hooray! Yeah, I do think that it's very funny. I'm sure he will get fired for that blunder, or maybe assimilated back into Emu, whatever. I don't know. Where I'm most cram says, Ahoy OPP. Banger chapter as always. The ending had me grinning from ear to ear. Ear to ear. And look how cute my main man Yamato is on the cover page. Do you think all three of York, Lilith, and Atlas are going to make it out alive? And if not, who do you think will survive? Have a great week.
I do wonder what's going to happen to York. Like,
it's going to be York. York's going to have a redemption, and they're going to be the only survivor.
No way.
York can die. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Lilith can die too, but nothing better happened to Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas has got to stay safe.
They've already fixed her up once. There's got to be at least
hang out with giants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want Atlas to remain, please.
I like that Oda was like, get these stinky boys out of here. I want my cute girls to hang out.
Yeah, Edison,
you look pensive.
Edison and Prometheus are.
Yeah.
They were so cute.
Sorry,
I'm actually very
up
sad at
reference
them.
for the drawing.
It's okay.
Vegapunk's hairstylist says, well, first of all, kudos on making that work. Hey, OPP, anime question. This week's episode, Luffy makes a joke that Zoro and Kako are acting more like friends, which I don't particularly remember in the manga. Anyway, do you think with the Kaku story, we can see him becoming an ally in the future war, maybe in addition to the fleet?
There are dozens of us Kaku truthers out there.
They were talking about this on SGS like a week ago.
Yeah. He's gotta find his own purpose. Like he's gotta
Kaku finds God.
He finds Jesus and he just quits everything.
He's gonna go work at Kuma's church.
He picks up Kuma's Bible and he's like,
He's imagining Kaku's like Kirk Cameron now.
I feel like Lucci in church is like the one guy from Spider-Man who's like, please God, kill this man for me. I don't think Lucci's getting any redemption.
God, I don't ask for
Eddie
much.
Brock,
but,
Edward Brock Jr.
Thank you, yeah.
God,
whatever.
I don't ask for much, but please kill Monkey D. Luffy.
I love it in the movie. That's what he does. He's just like, I've been a God-fearing man my entire life. And I never really pray, but I would really love for God to just kill somebody because I don't have a job anymore.
I think that's true hater behavior. I can see Lucci
He's
doing
dating
that.
the girl. He's dating the girl I was stalking. Like,
is it too late to draw Rob Lucci praying in the church before he gets covered in the Joy Boy symbiote?
in this Joy Boy goop. You know, earlier when we were
I've read that one in some fan fictions.
You've already done that title once.
Oh yeah, the goop, goopening,
Goopy Doo.
Yeah.
No, but I when we were talking about like this is a question that I want to pose to everybody before we finish this piece. There's still another question, but while I'm on it, who do you want to see get Joy Boyified the most?
I mean,
It's got to go ahead.
Zoro.
No, I was going to say something that was very yaoi brained, so you guys give your answers first.
Zoro would hate it the most, I think. Like
Zoro would be very funny. I would like to see Zoro. I want to see.
I'm not Zoro.
For personal reasons, I want to see Sanji. His eyebrows are already doing the thing. So
that's true.
Yeah,
I think Law would be great just because
Law would be so fucking funny.
Yeah, Law.
I would.
That's what I want.
I would say make Kid Joy Boyified too, but then I realized the animation version of Eustace Kid is just a character from the movie Heavy Metal.
I was gonna say
he would look like a Ed Nettie character to me.
I think he'd look like Roger Klotz.
I've drawn that before.
Yeah.
I've drawn that before.
Also, Gaimon, I think, would be really fun to see Joy Boy.
That's how he
Joe
gets slings out.
Doflamingo. Doflamingo would have a genuine smile on his face for once.
Oh yeah,
That'd be.
as opposed to
That's a scary. I don't like that image.
No,
I would.
a
Judge Doom
tunified-
vibes.
A tunified Doflamingo, he just looks like a Precious Moments like figure or like a character from Care Bears.
Okay.
He's
Also,
got like the big thin smile with the little half circles on top and the rosy red cheeks.
Crocodile
Nice.
or Robin would also be some fun. Robin would love it. She'd have a little blast. Crocodile, I want to see that man laugh.
Robin's would look like her imagination, like the things she
The
thinks
poorly
up.
drawn
Oh, the
cartoon
weird-
versions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be so
Yeah.
fucking funny.
What Robin thinks is cute. Yeah.
They kind of looks like scribble. They kind of look like weird scribbles, just like come to life, like Doodle Bob.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
All right. Hopkins Hat 15 gives us our last piece for the evening. Hey, OPP, how it be? That pyramid snail still looks to be alive. Do you think when the Iron Giant rises from the water, we might get the rest of the transmission and hear what the D initial truly means?
I mean, in all seriousness, I think the last however many 7 chapters where I think we're an amazing info dump for us. I feel like Oda has to leave something, and he's got to leave it for closer to the end, I think. But I think we'll get
He's
something.
given us enough already.
I think we'll get a little something, but I don't think it's going to be the D. God damn it! I don't think it's. I don't think it's going to be that.
Oda likes to tease us too much.
And I'm still convinced there's going to be like another 4 to 5 years left. So there's got to be more secrets to come.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this piece.
All right, we got one email, actually. We got an email from Failsafe23 who says, Hello. I am really late to the One Piece party, as I started reading it about 1.5 years ago because I like the trading card game. It only caught up
Welcome.
recently. Yeah. But holy shit, it is a great party to finally be in. I've been catching up on theories, interviews, and of course your podcast, which I must say is absolutely amazing. Easily the listen I am most looking forward to. Considering my relatively recent catch-up, it's no surprise that this is my first time writing, and if any of my questions have already been addressed, please disregard them, or if possible, please point me to a past episode that addresses them. They have a few questions, and I'll ask a couple of them here, otherwise go on for a while. But first one is, I've been reading the One Piece manga volumes physically, and it occurred to me that Shanks is always on the story recap / character pages, in the English and German versions at least. This is reserved for main characters plus arc-relevant characters, yet Shanks is the only constant in addition to the crew. Do you think there is any significance to this? Is he somehow always present in the story without the reader's obvious knowledge?
I think it's because kids think Shanks is cool as shit. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're like Luffy and you think Shanks is cool as hell, One Piece is definitely the story for you. So he's just there reminding everyone how cool he is until he shows up once in a while.
I mean, unfortunately, no. I mean, I think something that you learn as you go on is that a lot of the people who are creating like these ancillary material for like the volumes or other editions or other media for One Piece don't know anything more than pretty much what we know. But it's always helpful. I mean, those kind of recaps. Are those in the Japanese volumes? They're not, right? If I recall correctly, or are they? I
don't know.
Because if
I think
No, are you talking about at the beginning of every volume
Yeah.
where it just like it has the list of all the characters?
Yeah.
I think it's the same across versions.
Yes.
it's in the Japanese version
Yes.
too. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Well then,
Yes.
ignore what I was going about. It's just a way to keep kids like the front of the story was like, oh yeah, he was inspired by Shanks to do this. It kind of keeps the core beginning motivation kind of at the center, even when we're this far along. I think is what it basically comes down to.
Mm-hmm. All right, their second question was for Steven. May want to ask that on SGS week. You can resubmit that one. Third one was about whether or not the digitally colored version of One Piece will ever be released in English. We have no information about that. And finally, something truly fun and speculative for the Lost fans. How cool would it be if we get a scene of Jacob Joyboy and the Man in Black Emu sitting on a beach next to a giant statue, the Sunlight Tree, talking about incoming ships using lines such as, how did they find the island? They come, they fight, they destroy, they corrupt. It always ends the same. It only ends once. Anything that happens before, that is just progress. Do you have any idea how badly I want to kill you?
Is that
Throw
how
in some-
Lost ends? Did I just get spoiled? I
Throw
started
in some-
rewatching it 2 days ago.
I was gonna say, like, have you?
It's
Do you
been
not know how Lost ends?
throw in some cork in the center of the island that needs to be unplugged to drain the water and restore the world, and you have a bingo card. There you, I just wanted to read that. That tickles me because I still do love Lost, and I don't know. I like the last season. I don't care what anyone says.
My roommate agrees with you. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next time I see Melvin, I'll ask him.
Oh no, this one's Sarah. Melvin will watch
Sarah?
Lost.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're rocking with Sarah here.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I do. If anyone's ever seen, Steve, you've seen the Hulk Hogan movie, No Holds Barred.
No, actually.
You haven't? Okay, so the guy who plays Hulk's little brother, who gets like hurt by the main bad guy, is the guy who plays Jacob in Lost. So it's the same guy.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had from the email. Let me get the subreddit archipelago here. Some couple questions on Reddit. Ginge Continge says, "Hey OPP, what a chapter! JoyBonney is a delight. Other than putting that outfit on a 12-year-old, her story is one of my favorites in the post-time skip era. Feels like she is being built up to have a big role in the finale, and I can't wait to see what Oda does with her. How many times has the robot been the end of chapter cliffhanger now? It feels like half a dozen. Not enough for me. But finally, also, I have to admit, I'm a bit worried for these marine mooks who've been commenting on how freaky the five elders are. Will they be allowed to leave after having seen their demon forms? I think all their ships are just going to get sunk anyway. They're all dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as to the first part of your question, I'm not really convinced that Bonnie's going to be part of the finale so much. Like, she seems to have gotten her closure with her Nika-like future and successfully retrieving her father. I'm not sure if like restoring him or restoring his memories is going to be part of like the Straw Hats going to Laughdale or the final island. I think she's got her own, like I said during the manga recap, she's got her own sort of idea of what her family life could be, or actually having a family life. This time it was taken away from her when she was younger. So I hope she just gets to do that. I kind of feel like this whole adventure was about her relationship with her father, and it's sort of run its course now. It's sort of come full circle, and I don't think that the Straw Hat path sort of aligns with that. What does everyone else think?
You hit the nail on the head for me.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one then. The Gazer 01 says, "This chapter made me realize how little the Gear 5 after effects have actually mattered so far. Luffy always happens upon some food, and when it runs out and gets all his energy back to use Gear 5 again. I do miss when Luffy would run out of his technique and would have to deal with the drawbacks until he can fight back, like Gear 3 and Gear 4. Do you think Oda is done with doing that, or could these repeat uses cause some issue later on?"
I think it's just going to depend on the story, to be honest. I think they're
Probably.
putting in a situation. This part in particular, he's on a giant ship. The giant ship is going to have more than enough food, so it's like that's a nice get out of jail free card. Obviously, he's going to a giant island, so I could see that being less of an issue there. But maybe it will come back at some opportune points depending on what's happening in the story. So it depends, I guess, is what it comes down to. He can kind of write whatever he wants depending on what the story calls for. I feel like this kind of
Oda introduced a food machine, like the Jetsons automat, and that was very useful in Egghead. So
exactly.
All right, and finally, Prince of Assassins writes in to say, "Hey y'all, hope you're having a wonderful day. So with the news of Bonney being able to go Gear 5 in her Joy Boy form and her ability to change the forms of others, there's been a theory which has worried and excited people. The idea of Bonney turning all the Straw Hats and their allies into Joy Boy for the final war in an I am Spartacus moment, but instead it's I am Joy Boy. Roger's base was more thinking she'd do that for the Revolutionary Army and had reservations about it. But do you think it's something Oda would do, and would you like it, or is it a bit much? I'll be honest, I'm not convinced that Bonney can do this outside of Luffy's presence in Gear 5th.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's strictly because of her power, or if it's because of his power and her power, but I think it's more likely to do with his power than something that's inherent in her devil fruit.
Yeah, he is the one that invites her to take the form. I mean, I guess she could still be near him. I don't think Oda would do it. I wouldn't like it if he did it. I mean, I know we were just joking that we were all saying like, let's all be Joy Boy or whatever. I could see it being a fun thing in the sense of like, I want to see everybody be Joy Boy for a party, not a fight. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it's a celebration. Like, if Luffy, if his power expands to the point where he could cover the entire Earth with it, so that everyone, like everyone's donating their power to the Spirit Bomb. And
the spirit, I was literally about to say, Spirit Bomb.
Yeah,
energy there.
So everyone is, everyone is covered in covered in Joy Boy's goop, and they all turn, they all do the dance, and that's the
sun,
the moment,
the moon, the stars, and all living things.
Yeah, that's all. That's all there is on the subreddit archipelago, and there wasn't anything on Twitter this week, so that's it for the Piece Together segment. Shall we round off the show?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 823 for the week of Monday, June 24th, 2024. And on this episode, we had a manga recap for chapter 1118, The Most Free, and an anime recap for episode 1109, Tough Decision and Unusual United Front. And I want to thank Jeff Trammell for coming on the show. As I said at the top of the show, you can check out his new Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show coming to Disney Plus soon. And while you're waiting for that, go watch some Craig of the Creek too. So I want to thank Jeff for coming on. And where can everyone find you? Find us, Jammer. Where can people find you?
You can find me pretty much on all platforms at AJ Cerna Writer, and you can find all my books on Amazon under the name AJ Cerna.
Cool. All right, Vero, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ginkgo Crown Arts, and basically anywhere else, just at Ginkgo Crown. And also, you can find me and Steve at Anime Expo and Artist Alley in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Fantastic. All right. And
sorry, I stole your thunder.
And like I was saying before, please come to our show in August at the City Winery. Tickets are on sale. You can go to the City Winery's website. So that's Sunday after Anime NYC, not connected to the convention at all, but just come see us, come see the live show. It's a good time, and the City Winery is a great venue. And as I said before, on OnePiecePodcast.com, we are reintroducing editorial content to the site, and Kirsten Carey, our lovely musician, has got another article up there, sort of exploring the themes and sort of the idea of the end of One Piece. So check that out. Go to OnePiecePodcast.com. Alex, where can people find you?
Oh, well, you can find me at dude exclamation on One Piece and Blue Sky. I mean, on Twitter and Blue Sky. God. And couple weeks, I'll be at the One Piece Symphony in DC. So
me
see
too.
Me there, say hi. Yeah, it'll be there too.
Come say hi.
And I'll also be at Otakon later this summer with Super Art Fight. So if you're in the DC area for Otakon, find me. Say hello.
Go to Otakon if you feel like freezing to death in the hottest time of the year. They run those panel rooms so cold.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's like in the high 50s. Feels like.
Oh yeah, really quick.
Anyway.
I just realized I'm also going to be at FanX Denver this
cool.
July 4th weekend, whatever days that is. I'll be in Artist Alley or Book Alley or wherever corner they throw us over to.
Mm-hmm. Right on. And Steve, where can people find you?
SteveYurko.com, social media at Steve Yurko. Listen to 4Kids Flashback with me and Tara Sands. Watch ProZD Plays Games with me and ProZD. And go to Anime Expo and go to the Artist Alley and find Vero and I at table I-14.
Cool. And you can find me on Twitter at Edward E. One Piece and just Edward E. on Blue Sky. podcast can be found at the new and improved OnePiecePodcast.com. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. YouTube.com/OnePiecePodcast. Patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. Please support us and get ad-free versions of the episodes and also our previous Patreon exclusive show, Forced to Watch 4Kids. Check that out. And you can subscribe on SoundCloud, on Spotify, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number. That's 347-497-MAJI. 347-497-6254. Call anytime with your questions.
Anytime.
Your comments, your theories about whether
anytime.
or not there is there a Mrs. Stein? Anyway. That's it for us, everybody, for the One Piece podcast this week. We'll see you next time. My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
And we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, crap. I forgot to say everybody's free to be Nika earlier. Shit.
Wait, I think I'll just have Delaney edit that in.
Everybody's free to be Nika.
Yeah. Nika. We can get the rights to that song.
Yeah, if Venture Brothers can afford it, so can we.